The recap video that I made for EA's E3 press conference unfortunately went a little bit long, and I know that's my fault. I rambled and went on and rambled. So I'm going to be trying to cut it a little bit denser, I guess, which is good because Bethesda's conference had a lot more stuff in it than EA's by the noticeable margin. They opened with something that we haven't heard anything about in quite a while, and that would be Quake. Brand new Quake game called Quake Champions. They showed off a cinematic trailer, so there wasn't really any gameplay at all. When they had the guy come out on stage, he made sure to mention that it was going to be fast, and it was going to be fast, and it was going to be fast, and that's pretty much actually all that they had to say about it. They said 120 hertz refresh rate and an unlocked frame rate. So I don't know if unlocked frame rate means that they were unable to hit 60 with the console versions, and so unlocked is close enough, or if they really mean actually unlocked and it will be running at somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 on consoles. Who knows? And as far as the 120 hertz thing goes, I've got even less idea. But fast, big numbers, high speeds. They then devoted several minutes to restating everything that came out last year. Basically going, look how cool we are, we released Fallout 4. Look how cool we are, we released Fallout Shelter. Look how cool we are, we released Doom, you know? We get it. You guys, yeah, you made things that people like. Good job. The Elder Scrolls Legends is that Elder Scrolls card game that you've heard about and then haven't heard anything about for quite a long time. So, of course, it needed to be mentioned again. We got to see the opening cinematic, and along with that, they announced that the beta is expanding, so if you want to sign up, you go to Bethesda.net, there's links somewhere, you can find it. And the game is expanding to iPhones and Android tablets, so there's even more ways for you to play the game right now while you wait for it to release, which is a very weird state of affairs, but such is the world of betas. Fallout 4 got all kinds of news. All kinds of news. So there is a new DLC called Contraptions, which adds contraptions to your settlement as options. So there's conveyor belts and elevators and switches and all sorts of things that let you make large, elaborate machines. I don't know if there's any kind of story attached to this or if it's just a bunch of new toys to play with, but everybody likes new toys, and the best part is that it's actually coming out next week. Yeah, so they just announced it, and then it's coming out basically immediately, which is surprising. Normally things are announced at E3 and they're coming out like a year and a half from then if they don't get delayed. So that's like huge change of pace. And it just, like, that trend just keeps on continuing with Fallout 4. They announced a second DLC for Fallout 4 called Vault Tech, which lets you build your own vault. So that means there's entirely new, like, building sections, you know, the underground tunnels and stairways and doors, and I don't know what all is going to be included in there, but presumably everything you need to build your own vault, exactly as they advertised. It also is going to add dwellers, like people that would live in it. So if you liked Fallout Shelter and you enjoyed seeing like miserable people living underground, now those miserable people living underground will be three-dimensional. Much better, right? And the third DLC is called Nuka World. It's a Nuka-Cola themed theme park near as we can tell, and that's about all that there is to know about it. Like, that was the trailer. It pans up over it, and it's like, coming soon. And coming soon really is the theme of all of the DLC, because Contraptions, next week. Vault Tech, next month. Nuka World, 2 months from now. So that means 3 months in a row, new Fallout 4 stuff, which is kind of cool. I mean, you don't normally see anybody have a schedule that rapid when it comes to releasing DLC. They normally like to milk it a little. Instead, they just like dumped the milk on you. I don't, like, the milking in customer metaphor just doesn't work well. On to the next thing. Fallout Shelter, which seems to be the inspiration for the Vault-Tec add-on, is actually getting a major update that's going to add new locations and new quests and new types of characters. It's also getting a PC version, so you can play it on an even bigger screen. That PC version is coming out in July, so just like all of the other Fallout add-ons, you're not going to have to wait long for it. And then they announced something, I would say it's something huge, because it's something that people have been requesting, and that something is the Skyrim remaster. It's called Skyrim Special Edition, and it's coming to current generation consoles. It's going to have mod support, just like Fallout 4 just gained, and on top of that, just like everything with Fallout 4, it's only coming out a few months from now. This one's actually coming out in October, so yeah. If those hundreds of hours that you sank into Skyrim when it first came out weren't good enough, use hundreds more in a slightly prettier version of the world. There was a trailer for a new game from Arcane Studios. They're the Dishonored guys. And it actually looks really cool. It's some kind of horror, puzzle, mystery, action game. I'm not sure. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and I was really interested in it just based on seeing the trailer. And then at the end, after having been interested in it for several minutes, I then became very confused because the game is called Prey. And I don't know if you know this or not, but there was a game called Prey that came out 10-ish years ago, and they announced a Prey 2, and then it never came out. And here's this one that seems to have nothing to do with the space alien portal abduction American Indian stuff that they had going on in the first game. So I don't know if this is a reboot or if this is just a completely independent game that happens to have the same title. I don't know the status of it as far as relationship to other games with the same title, but it looks very good. Even though Bethesda had bragged about Doom at the beginning of the show, they took more time to brag now in the middle, just wow, look how great Doom is. Lots of people like Doom. Look at how cool everything that's being made with SnapMap is. Which, yes, SnapMap is cool. However, SnapMap is going to be getting more cool because it's getting some major updates, which are going to be adding new props and other items that you can use in the level creator. It's adding new logic options for scripting. It is also going to be expanded to make it significantly easier to make like completely standalone single player experiences. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but if nothing else, they're giving you more tools to play with. So even if the single player focus ends up not working, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up just being more of a side feature because I don't think that's what it was built for, it would still be cool to have more options rather than less options. The free update trend continues with there being 2 new multiplayer modes that are going to be being added soon and additional multiplayer modes to be added later. There's also the first DLC announced, which was called Unto the Evil. It's going to add 3 new maps and weapons and other stuff to the game, and I'm assuming that all of that is going to bleed back into SnapMap when Unto the Evil releases, meaning that if you really like SnapMap, you're getting a lot of new stuff to play around with. And if you haven't tried Doom, Bethesda wants you to try Doom, so that way you'll buy it, and so they're putting the first level up as a free demo for the next week, so check the Xbox store, check the PlayStation store, check Steam. The first level should be available as a demo. You can download, you can play, and from there you can spend money on it if you like. Exciting things are also happening in the world of The Elder Scrolls Online. First thing, it's releasing in Japan on July 23rd, so if you're watching this from Japan, congratulations for you! You're going to be able to play the game now. There's a new DLC focusing on the Dark Brotherhood. It's called, perhaps uncreatively, Dark Brotherhood, but at least you know what you're getting, right? And then later in the year, in a few months from now, there's going to be a second major update called One Tamriel. And that one is doing some major restructuring to the level restrictions, and by that I mean it's completely getting rid of them. Don't ask me what this is going to do for world balance, but I guess you're going to be able to go to any zone and use any equipment, play with any group of people. I don't know like what this means for the existing level system aside from the fact that it's going away. I'm sure they know what they're doing, and we'll find out how they deal with it in a few months. Then Bethesda did something unexpected. They announced something called Bethesda VR. It's not another like $800 headset, don't worry about that. What it is Bethesda VR content. So they announced two things for Bethesda VR, which the first is a Doom tour. Yeah, that one was really light on details. It just, they put the Doom logo up on screen. They're like, get a tour of hell. VR, intense. And then they moved on to the big thing, the big news. And the big news is that they're making a VR version of Fallout 4. And they made it sound like it's going to be like the full open world shebang, and I don't know how that's going to work. But they've said that they're working on it. It's going to be coming to the HTC Vive in 2017, so they've got a year to work out Fallout 4, because Fallout 4, like, there's lots of good things you could say about it, but I think some of the graphical glitches and various issues that the game have that are tolerable and maybe even amusing in 2 dimensions might be a little bit unsettling when it happens in 3 dimensions, like right in front of you. Or they might just leave it in the state that it is, just, you know, the charm of falling through walls in first person. I don't know. The show closed with Dishonored 2, which Dishonored 2 looks great. It really does. So don't take all the negative things that I'm about to say as something negative, because the game looks great. It really does. But the end of the show went on. And when it was finished going on, it kept on going on after that, and then it went on. Like, they showed like a cinematic trailer and like a teaser trailer showing off the art, and a gameplay trailer and a different gameplay trailer, and like a teaser trailer after that, and then they ended with a game. Like, there were a lot of trailers, and the host talked over some of them and not others, and let's just say that I became less and less excited about the amount of time that was being spent on Dishonored 2, as Dishonored 2 like ate up an increasingly large proportion of the show. But really though, in all of the demos we got to see new weapons and new items, and how there are some very unique things going on. For instance, with time travel. Time travel's cool. There's random weather, and they've made it sound like, depending on which of the 2 playable characters that you pick, there might be different outcomes in the story. I'm not sure how that's going to work, just because, like, wouldn't it suck if one character always gets a bad ending, one character always gets a good ending? Actually, that would be kind of interesting, as long as you didn't know in advance. You could actually be, like, surprised by, you know, no matter what I pick, something goes wrong. But they also spent a lot of time talking about the new engine. It's called the Void engine, and Dishonored 2 runs on it. They mentioned it a handful of times, so they must have spent a lot of time on it, just because the game looks good. The game looks good. It's got all kinds of unique features to it. I could imagine them wanting to build from the ground up instead of trying to, like, hack their cool ideas onto somebody else's engine. They announced a collector's edition of Dishonored 2. It comes with a helmet, comes with a ring, comes with a poster, you know, all kinds of normal collector's edition thing. What is more exciting than that, perhaps, is that if you pre-order it, not just the special edition, like even the regular edition, you get a free copy of the definitive edition of the first game. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with free games. So, yeah, just, like, go spend your money on it now so you can get the free game, unless you already have the first game, in which case you might as well wait. But still, I mean, that's a nice bonus, getting a free game. If you attended their press conference, you get a t-shirt. I didn't attend. If I did, I mean, I would be wearing the t-shirt right now. And since you're watching this, you probably didn't attend, and you probably didn't get a t-shirt either. I'm very sorry about that. And if you did attend and you're watching this, thank you very much. Bethesda's conference was honestly better than I was expecting. Not that I was expecting it to be bad, but like they announced a lot of things in very short order. Like there were really only a handful of new games because there was Quake and Prey. And I think those were the only like two surprises, maybe. But if you, like, brand new surprises, but if you expand your definition of brand new a little bit, there's the new version of Skyrim, which very highly requested. Virtual reality version of Fallout 4, very highly requested. Fallout 4 expansion, just like raining it down on you. Fallout Shelter expansions, maybe not raining, maybe that one's coming at you sideways. Doom stuff coming at you from the other direction, and Dishonored 2, which is surrounding you with its army of trailers. I don't know, but the point is, like, there was actually a lot of stuff. There might not have been as many games as it might have seemed like for how many titles were announced, because a lot of those titles were add-ons for things that were currently coming out, but all in all, like, there was a lot of stuff that was announced, which I think it's cool. I like it. About the only negative thing that I can say about it is that some of the biggest announcements were just glossed over. Like Skyrim Remastered, you know people are going to be super excited about that, and what we got was basically PlayStation 3 landscape shot, PlayStation 4 landscape shot, Xbox 360 landscape shot, Xbox One landscape shot, coming soon, and that's what we got. Like, something of that magnitude you'd think should maybe get like this much more time spent. I don't know. Like they could have said more about what it would have included. Like obviously it's going to come with all of the DLC, and it's got the mod support, but I don't know, it just felt too low-key for how big of a deal, it's going to turn out to be. And if you thought that the special edition of Skyrim got undercovered, there's also the Fallout 4 VR, which is certain to be a huge deal. And it was just like, oh yeah, making this cool thing. And that's what, like, there wasn't gameplay of that, there wasn't pictures, there was just the announcement that they were doing it. And I know that VR doesn't demo well, and I'm sure they had their reasons for not showing it off, but still, for such a big announcement, it seemed like it was underserved a little. But it doesn't really matter, because it ended up being propped up by everything else in the show, and it's not like you can be mad at them for announcing something cool, right? Well, thank you for watching my recap video of Bethesda's E3 2016 conference. If you subscribe, you may find it easier to watch our recap videos of all of the conferences that are going to be happening tomorrow and the day after that. Or you can just navigate back here on your own, whichever you prefer. Thank you again for watching, and there's going to be more conferences, so there will be more videos.